I'm Shannon.
I'm Maddie.
I'm Bailey.
I'm Lauren.
Okay, that was my audience. Okay. Gun control in America is something that we should not have, but it is also something that can be considered a necessary evil. Gun control is something that is necessary, and many people consider it evil, so therefore a necessary evil. All right. So, Chuck Palahniuk once said, "It's all mirror, mirror on the wall, the same way beauty is power, which is the same way money is power, which is the same way guns are power." What that means is if you're a beautiful person, outside or inside, you often tend to get what you want when you want it. That goes the same way for money is power. Since money is power, you can get what you want when you want it, no matter who is giving it to you. You can get almost anything, no matter what. That's the same way with guns. Guns are powerful because not only are they a weapon and many people are afraid of them, but it's also the same way that guns can get you what you want and when you want it, and basically how you want it. Guns are powerful and are feared by many people. Here are some ways in which guns could be well regulated and should be well regulated. First, they should have stricter regulations on receiving guns. They should have psychological and drug tests tested when they are obtaining their guns, and the types of guns with the different regulations that you could get. By that I mean, with these regulations that are listed above that I'm about to tell you, those are the things that should get you a normal gun. Alright, starting with these stricter regulations on receiving guns. What that means is you should have higher age limits, and these are also the qualifications for when you get a gun. First off, higher age limits. If you're getting a semi-automatic weapon, you should have to be like 25, for example, to whereas a pistol you should have to be 24 or something like that. That is not necessarily what I believe you should have, and of course there will be definite answers later on. But for now, I think that is something that should be concerned and considered on. Background checks. Those are already being performed, but not to such a high standard that I believe that they should be performed. Background checks are something that could prove to be very efficient, but in most ways are lacking nowadays. What that means is background checks should be stricter and harsher. What they should do is go through the criminal records and all that other stuff. I'm not necessarily saying that they should have access to things when people were minors, but that is something that should be considered when considering the background checks. Many background checks are, when it comes to minors, concealed and confidential because they are minors. Well, studies prove that if you have a child who is killing animals unmercifully, chances are he's going to become a serial killer. You don't want a serial killer to be able to buy guns. Now, chances are he will show more characteristics of becoming a serial killer later on, but this is something that America should be worried about and should check into more. Next thing is checking to see if they have crimes in their background. And I don't mean like regular crimes like petty theft and stuff like that. I'm talking about some of the more serious and abnormal crimes, almost like the animal killings. Robbery at gunpoint is something where they should not be able to get a gun, but obviously if they did that, they already had one. So that is something also America should be worried about. But moving on to the psychological and drug tests that should be withheld when people are working on obtaining guns. First off, having psychological tests should be something that should be tested for because some people are mentally incapable of handling the ability to have a gun. They're not capable of being able to withstand all the stress of regular day activities like most people could. They can't stand being around some people, so if you have like schizophrenia or something like that, I'm not necessarily saying that you can't have guns, but I'm just suggesting that you should not have guns. Drug tests. Drug tests are something I feel should be tested for almost everything like welfare and everything like that when it comes to the governmental stuff. But of course, for guns, you should be testing for more of the serious drugs that are way more addictive, like heroin or cocaine or anything like that. That is something that you should definitely be worried about, because if chances are if you're addicted to heroin or cocaine and you get a gun, you're going to want to be able to go and use that gun to get what you want. Again, that is showing the quote, the proof of the quote that I had, because guns are power. Types of guns that you can get with these regulations that I have said. I think that you should only be able to get things like handguns and single shot weapons with these guns, or with these regulations. Any other type of gun that you get, you should almost have to have a special type of license, and you should go through stricter regulations and everything, and stricter background checks and stuff. With that, I think if you do want a semi-automatic or assault weapon, you should have to have a stricter background check, a stricter age limit, and have stricter psychological and drug tests. And with the drug tests with those, I think you should almost have to have, if you have any drugs in your system, or if you have ever previously used any type of drugs, including marijuana and all the illegal substances, well, illegal in most of the states because marijuana is now legal. With all that being said, I've told you about some of the stricter regulations on getting guns, some of the psychological and drug tests we should test when people who are obtaining guns, and also the types of guns people should get with those regulations. Here are my note cards. Here's my audience.